Welcome to the world's #1 fitness business podcast for health club owners, gym managers, and fitness entrepreneurs. As always, this will be a great show as we have another expert to help your fitness business and your career. We'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Active Management, for supporting us, and we highly recommend becoming a member of Active Management to strengthen your business in 2016. There are loads of resources members receive, so join the Active Tribe today at www.activemgmt.com.au. Now that's enough from me. Let's welcome the show's amazing host, Chantal. What's on this week's show?
Harper, this week I had a visit from JT from Active Management. He was just about to fly out to Orlando and present at URSA, so I managed to get 20 minutes with him just to chat before he flew out the door, quite literally. But before we head into that interview, I want to first share with you our award winners this week for guests that have hit a milestone in their show downloads. In fact, very, very exciting because for the first time ever since we launched the Fitness Business Podcast, we have had one individual guest reach 1,000 downloads of their show. I don't think it'll come as a surprise to any of you that that guest was Casey Conrad from Show 31. So a huge congratulations to Casey. But wait, because there is more. We also had a bucket load of other guests reach an incredible 500 downloads each. Now, take a listen. This is who they were. Congratulations to Mish McCormack way back in show 12, Mike McAllowitz, show 24, Molly Kemmer, show 30, Sean Bester, show 35, Amy Dixon, show 29, Amanda Vogel, show 4, Jody Rumack, show 32, and Michelle Seeger, show 33. So congratulations to everyone that I just mentioned. And don't forget, Tribe, that if you missed any of those shows, just head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and you can check them out. Now, FBP Tribe, as you know, this show would not be possible without the support of our amazing sponsors. So I just wanted to say a really quick shout out to the awesome team at Visual Fitness Planner. If you are a club owner or a club manager and you haven't checked out the VFP, then do yourself a favor and jump over to www.vfp.us. Now, let me ask you this. If you could ask any of our former guests a question, who would it be? And what would you ask? I want you to hit pause on the podcast right now. Go over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, click on my picture, which is top right of screen, and tell me who you would ask and what your question would be. And thank you so much to all of you who have already asked a question. It's fantastic. We are collecting all of your questions, and in show 50, you can listen in to hear the answers. So go and do it right now. Hit pause, jump onto the website, and ask away.
This month, we have an awesome prize for people who subscribe to the show notes at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com or engage with the Fitness Business Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even emailing us. Do it and you may be this month's winner. Now it's time for this week's guest.
It sure is, Harper. As mentioned, this week's guest is JT from Active Management. We caught up this month about creating a customer experience. We talked about status within our business and the importance of personalisation for our members. He also gives us a 3-step action plan for getting started with rewarding status within your business. So let's not delay. Let's get stuck into this week's show. JT, let me ask you this. Are you ready to FitSpire our global FBP tribe of fitness business owners and managers?
Yeah, baby.
But are you ready to overload our FBP tribe with pearls of wisdom, strategies for success, and tips to make them better leaders and business people?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, now, here's the thing. You come onto the show, JT, and we hear a lot about all of the cool stuff that you do, but surely it can't all be good. I mean, why don't we start today? I want you to tell the FBP tribe something that is going to prove that after all of the success that you've had, that you are actually human, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's funny because we're chatting at an industry leaders roundtable meeting recently about launching a new product to the corporate world. And it was a PT who wanted to tap into the wealthy C-suite of Melbourne. And it reminded me of a promo that we ran when we opened our second club. We paid for a database of C-suite people in our area, like chief executive officers, chief financial officers, et cetera, any position starting with C. And we had this concept that we'd give every C-level person in the area one branded sock. Then they'd have to come to our official opening to get the other branded sock. Great idea. Now, the beautiful invite, designed magnificently, was placed inside the branded sock, just so popping out of the top of the sock was, "You are invited to get the other sock at the official opening, ... Pull it out and you'd read more about it. We then wrapped each sock in cellophane so you could read the invite at the top. We hand addressed on the sock on the cellophane, and then we hand delivered to each of the guests. And at our opening party, we had a massive number of people attend. 0. Not one person bloody showed up at all. We had one person show up who'd been told about the event. So this promo completely bombed. And we paid a marketing company $5,000 Aussie dollars, that is, for their expertise in launching a new club with this tremendous idea. So it was $5,000 for the idea, then we paid for the socks, then we paid for the printing, and then we paid for the hand delivering. I think it was about $10,000 for the launch, and no one showed up.
0. That must have hurt.
Just proves we're all human.
Thanks for your honesty, JT. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, quickly. Get me out of that pain.
Good idea. Good idea. Now, would I be right in saying that you've just recently conducted your Australian roundtables?
Yep, sure did. Yeah.
Any insights that you want to share with us from that?
Well, we spent some time talking about customer experiences. I just did a little presentation on the importance of creating experiences for the customer.
Okay, I would have thought that roundtable clients would understand that, a big part of differentiation comes down to creating experiences, when people come through their clubs and studios.
Yeah, they certainly get it. But the first challenge in delivering an experience is every person in your organisation will give you a different answer on how to deliver an experience. And maybe even what is an experience. So we discussed ensuring that the whole team is on the same page of what an experience is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's actually a really good point because I guess when you think about it, we all have different upbringings and we have different views on experiences. So I definitely like the idea of having a common definition in a business for what an experience is and what it is that we should deliver.
Yeah, that's right. But here's the intriguing thing about today's consumer and creating that customer experience, because it's no longer about being present. You expect that the person behind the front desk is physically present there as well as emotionally present, I guess, that we're providing functional and usable information or delivering the service, the personal training service, the group fitness class, or handing out locker keys for that matter, in an enjoyable manner. That's no longer what an experience is about because it simply does not last long enough into the customer's life cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your customer experience goal should be 1, get better at understanding and satisfying your customer's needs, and 2, more challenging, anticipate their needs before they know what they want or need. And this becomes a proactive experience.
Yep, I can definitely see the difference there.
So we need complete experience architecture for our consumers. If we examine just the journey that a new member would go through, even before they sign up to be a member, we need to look at their experience when they're researching and planning to buy a membership, or even if they're already a member, they're researching and planning to buy personal training or small group training. We need to look at how they book a tour. We need to look at having the tour, and we need to look at immediately post a tour if they don't join. And this is all about the customer experience.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. I think that we tend in business to place like 100% of our energy into the experience once they are a member, or even in the sales process, but we don't tend to give a lot of attention to the experience while they're just shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah? I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a lot of work. I get that. And FBP, that's hard to say, isn't it? FBP Tribe, we need to really consider what their wants are as prospects. What do they want to experience before buying? And that takes work and that takes planning. This will be the first step to differentiating between you and your competitor. So I actually consider it a fairly high priority is to go back and develop that experience from when they're just shopping, when they're just researching who you are.
It sounds like a good idea. And I mean, we haven't even explored, creating an experience rather once they're become a member or a client. So maybe we need to look into that another day. What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool.
Okay, so I believe that next week you're speaking at URSA in Orlando, which is incredibly exciting. Tell us about what you're speaking on.
Well, I've got a round table over there that I'm running on social media, being a friend or foe in business. So that should be quite exciting. I'm not sure who will show up to that one. And I'm also doing an education session on today's consumer.
Okay, do you want to give us a bit of an insight into what you're going to talk about? Because I'm sure not every single one of the FBP tribe will be heading to URSA, as much as I'm sure everyone would love to.
Certainly, I'm sure everybody would love to, especially Orlando, nice spot.
Exactly.
Look, I'm going to talk more about the customer experience that I talked about at the round table that I just ran, but specifically also about 7 consumer trends that are occurring across the globe currently.
Sounds good. Let's go for it. What would you say is first?
Well, you know how I bang on and on and on
and on
about the importance of status in our businesses?
I do, yes.
Well, what we're going to see is the consumer is going to want more exclusivity with their status. So many multinationals outside the fitness industry are basically selling off status and loyalty, i.e. you don't have to earn it any longer, you can just buy it. And it's becoming easier and easier to get status with the Internet of Things. So the privileges of status are increasingly more accessible for everybody, so therefore it becomes less about status. It gets a bit confusing, I understand that. But what we're basically saying is your consumer will seek you as a health club provider, as a personal training business. They'll seek you to deliver true privileges that have been earned. Your consumer in 2016 will want exclusivity when they gain status. So, status within status.
Okay, that's really interesting. Do you have maybe any examples that you can share with us around that?
Yeah, look, one close to home is with our Game of Fitness Leadership as a feature of the active membership. Members gain status for doing tasks on the Member Hub. There are some tasks that when the members achieve them, they will receive an exclusive invite to dinner with one of our expert ninjas and me in either Sydney, LA, New York or London.
That is awesome. So that's really cool. So basically, this is an exclusive to people who complete the task. You can't buy a ticket. It's like a money can't buy reward, yeah?
Correct. Money can't buy experience. Great. I like that. We might put that in our marketing.
Okay.
I like that. No one can buy a ticket at all. You have to complete the tasks, and that is the reward for your status.
That's really cool. I want to be a part of that. Love it.
You remember.
Love it. Okay, any other examples for us?
Well, again, outside the industry, Marmite in the UK in August last year opened a pop-up Love Cafe in London. It was called Love Cafe. Love didn't happen in the cafe. Their campaign that they launched was Love It or Hate It for a new edition of Marmite. And here was a really cool thing. When you rocked up to Love Cafe, they analysed your social media platforms to see if your overall social sentiment was a lover or a hater. And if you're a lover, well, then you got free coffee and toast with the new Marmite. And if you're a hater, you had to pay for it.
That's pretty funny. That's incredible. Tell us what else. What is next?
Okay, the consumer is going to still want to improve their performance in every aspect of their life. We talked about this way back in single-digit show numbers about betterment.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not going to change. Neither will them turning to technology to help them get better. And as an industry, we sit really comfortably into being able to improve our consumers' performance around life, work, family, relationships, health, all of that sort of broad brushstroke that we call performance. The problem is 80% of most consumers in most countries don't turn to the fitness industry to improve their performance. So we need to partner with other industries to enhance the self-improvement journey.
So what you're telling me is that the consumer wants to improve themselves, but they don't see fitness as a solution?
For the majority of the world's population, yep, that's correct.
Okay, so basically we should try and partner with someone who they do see would actually improve their performance.
Yep.
Okay, who are you thinking? Like who?
Well, I see a really nice fit for the fitness industry and brain training. It's estimated that brain training games will be a $6 billion industry in just 4 years. To me, getting the brain fit and the body fit is a really nice mix. And we need to leverage this relationship to help consumers improve and see us as a solution to their total improvement.
It's pretty out there, JT.
Yeah, sure is, but that's why you pay me the big bucks, Chantel.
That's right. That's what it is. How about, do you have maybe another slightly less obscure trend for us?
Well, I don't consider the last one obscure, but anyway, the trend of understanding who we really are follows really nicely on trying to improve. So we're going to see a new wave of consumers who really want to understand who they are as an individual.
Okay.
So last year we talked about the importance of personalisation. This means letting your future member or your future client tell you what you want and then you giving it to them. This is really empowering and fun for the customer, but as many people have told me in the last 12 months, it's a nightmare for business owners. So in 2016, we're going to see the consumer embrace you as a business if you can actually help them reveal what they really want rather than asking them to articulate it. So in other words, we need a degree in mind reading. But I think this opens up the door for a real premium PT package, whether it's in a club or in a studio or a PT business, where we move to this coaching model. And I think we're going to have to move a lot faster than we currently are towards that service that we can offer. Because helping them in many areas of their wellness to improve is what they're going to be looking for. Now, it doesn't mean we need a sexy app or sexy technology. Just the human conversation to help them provide a much deeper and profound personalisation experience would be a good start.
I can definitely see how this relates to, let's say, maybe a tour for some members or a no-sweat PT session. Do you think that clients would be willing to pay for something like that?
Yeah, absolutely I do. It's got to be packaged correctly and it's got to be marketed properly. But most importantly, the staff member delivering the coaching must be confident and a competent coach. If we put all those pieces of the puzzle together, I'm pretty sure people are going to pay, and I think they'll pay well for it too.
Definitely. You know what? I'm really enjoying our shows, JT. I'm finding them very interesting. I feel like, each time that we catch up, it kind of stretches my thinking, and hopefully the FBP tribe feel the same way. I have a suggestion though.
Sure.
Just a little one.
Okay.
Instead of going through the remaining 4, how about we add them to another show and I ask you this question. Okay. Where do our FBP tribe start with the information that you've given us?
Ooh, great question. Okay, for sure. Let's defer the next 4 to April. Mm-hmm. The key for me is that you need to explore. The key for me is you need to think outside the box, which I know is a cliche, of running a business. You've actually got to give yourself permission to think imaginatively, and you've got to give yourself permission to get out of the business to work on the business. Mm-hmm. If I were an FBP tribe member, here would be my 3-step action plan. 1, decide what status you'll reward in your business. 2, tell your members how they can gain status in your business. 3, what is the exclusive reward when they reach that status point? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That's cool. So do you have any tips for us on what status should be rewarded?
Sure. I'd reward usage, how often they come, referrals, how many they give, and length of membership, how long they've been with you.
That sounds like a great starting point, FBP tribe. I love it.
And now while I'm working on the business, I want to explore this brain fitness idea and look at how that could be a profit center in my business. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what that would look like, but I'd love to hear from anybody that does have an idea on the FBP tribe. In fact, go to the Active Management Facebook page and tell me, help me. I need some ideas. But I think, I'd work on status first and I'd be working on brain fitness second. They'd be my two consumer trends that I'd put my energy into at the moment.
Okay. Great. It all sounds like some really good suggestions, JT. So tribe, make sure you jump on and help JT out. JT, thank you. I want to say good luck with your presentation at URSA next week.
Thank you very much. I'll do my best to fit-spire everyone, and I'll be sure to tell them about your little show, Chantel. Have you got any good speakers coming up that I can tell them about?
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. As it happens, we've actually confirmed today that I'm going to be interviewing Maureen Hagan from Good Life Fitness in Canada. Now, she will receive the URSA Julia Mayne Award next week and has done some amazing things all over the world with group fitness and leadership. So I'm really, really excited about interviewing Maureen. Now, we are also interviewing Anne Coppins, who will be talking about gamification, a subject that I know that you love. And we're going to be chatting also with Jeb Blount in the coming weeks about his book, People by You.
Cool. Very good. Yeah, wow. Do you have any space for me to come back and do those other 4 trends?
Of course we do.
Yeah,
We've always got room for you, JT. So will you come back in April then?
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. So we'll explore those final 4 consumer trends then. So I just want to say, remember, FBP Tribe, that if you've got any questions for JT, then he will answer them in show 50 in our special Q&A show. I mentioned it earlier on in the show. JT loves to answer questions, so make sure you send them in to us. All you need to do is head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, click on my image, which is top right of screen, and send me your questions, either questions for JT or for any of our previous guests on the show. JT, thanks for coming in again.
My pleasure.
And we wish you very safe travels.
Thank you. Have a great month and see FBP Tribe people at URSA who are there.
Yes, we will see you next month. Thanks, JT.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
The new Active Management membership is perfect to help reduce your stress of running a fitness business, with shortcuts, tools, and education all at your fingertips. You will be strengthened as a leader and a business with the new Active Management membership. To find out more, go to activemgmt.com.au and click on the big blue button that says you can be a member now. There are 4 packages to suit every budget and need.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast wrap.
Here are my top takeaways from this week's show. We need to consider what we want our prospects to experience before buying. In 2016, remember that the consumer wants you to help them reveal what they really want rather than asking them to articulate it. This is when it becomes so important to deliver that personal experience that JT talked about. And he also said that you must give yourself permission to get out of the business to work on the business. And he gave us that 3-step action plan. So why not go back, give it a try, and see how you go. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome back to the show Liesl Klebe, our resident people expert. How have you been, Liesl?
I've been good, Chantel. Very good. Looking forward to coming back and giving you guys a few more tips and tools.
I am very excited to have you back on the show. So today you're going to be talking to us about recruitment for tribal connection. Give us an idea. What's that all about?
Okay, so it's interesting that throughout my career, people have said to me, how do you manage to have such a high retention rate of your staff? And HR departments have come to me as well and gone, how do you recruit? Because it's really different for you. And I actually do take a really different approach with my recruitment to what a standard HR department would take. So I thought it might be helpful for me to talk a little bit about how I recruit and then consequently how that builds really strong retainment of the people that you have recruited onto your team.
That sounds great. So let's start off with that. Exactly, maybe explain to us, how do you actually go about recruiting for your instructor tribe?
Okay, so the first thing is actually the last thing. The most important thing to know is that I've never had to advertise for any staff ever. If you can manage to set up yourself as a strong leader and set up your team as a really highly skilled team, people will actually be banging your door down. So I used to get in the ballpark of maybe 5 applications a week for people who wanted to work with me, which amounts to quite a lot across a 4 or 5 year period. So you need to promote your facility that you're working for. You promote yourself as a leader, and you also need to promote the skills of your team and how experienced they are. And the word of mouth then gets out there in the industry when you build that profile on websites, LinkedIn, social media. You can get some press happening and just really get some trainings happening in your club as well. So people are coming to your club and seeing what's going on there and recognising the calibre of the staff that you have on your team. And then basically recruitment looks after itself. The people will come to you, and then you just need to apply these principles in order to get the right people on the bus.
Okay, so when you're going about looking for instructors in your tribe, what is it exactly that you're looking for?
Okay, so the first thing that I do when I'm looking for people is I look for a high level of skill set, and you're going to find a lot of people with a high level of skill set, and I usually pitch it a little bit higher than the rest of the industry. So if it's acceptable for the rest of the industry to have a gel and someone who can just have a gel qualification and they're qualified to teach body attack, for instance, I'll ask for a Cert 3 and a Cert 4 as well as the gel. And I won't even look at anyone unless they've got a couple of levels up above in experience, and then that's sorted. I need to see all of their qualifications and certifications current before I'll even interview them. At the interview stage, I'm really looking for fit, because you'll get a lot of people with a skill set, but you'll get only a few people who'll have a perfect fit for the fitness organisation that you work for.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual process that you go through when you are recruiting.
Okay, so the first thing, as I said, is to have a look at the CV, the cover letter, and ask for, if I'm interested, I will then go ahead and say, look, I'll need to see everything current from you in terms of your qualifications and your certifications, and make sure that that's all in place. Otherwise, you're going to recruit someone who's not able to be put straight onto the timetable. The second thing I'll do, if I'm interested, is I will meet them and tour them around the club and tell them about what we do. I'll talk to them about the team. I'll introduce them to staff and the group fitness team as I'm going around, maybe introduce them to members. At that point, I'm gauging how they're responding to all that and what sort of comments they're making, what sort of questions they're asking, how proactive they are, how much buy-in there is from them. If I'm still interested at that point, I'll invite them to audition, and that usually will be a team teach with me if they teach a program that I teach. So I'm putting them in an environment where we're both working together, and that's really important for me, that I'm finding someone who is not playing for themselves, but they're playing for the team, and they're able to work really well with someone else or with another big group of people. After that point, it really depends how they perform and how I'm feeling about them. I tend to hire hard and manage easy. So there's some people on my team that it's taken them 12 months and perhaps 6 auditions to get onto the team, because I felt that they're not ready. I've seen qualities in them that I think are worthwhile pursuing, but I also don't want to throw them under the bus and put them on stage before they're ready to feel confident in that, and before the members are going to really accept them. Being used to a high standard of instructors, they're going to ask a lot from anyone. So I make sure the instructor's ready and the members are in a state that they're ready to receive what they've got coming at them. From the point that they come onto the team, depending where their skill set is, I may choose to mentor or upskill or team teach, or put them with someone else who's going to team teach with them for a period until they'll shadow, they'll team teach, and eventually they'll get their own spot. But that process, that can take a little bit of a while, and it's my time to gauge who that person is. When push comes to shove, how are they reacting? Are they going to go the extra mile? How badly do they want to be on the team?
I love that philosophy, Liesl, that hire hard and manage easy.
Yeah.
Talk to us about why is that so important?
It's really critical in my book that you don't just jump out and hire someone before you've A, met them, and B, auditioned them or assessed them in a class, you can call it whatever you like, basically seen them teaching and seen them reacting with other people and how they fit with your team. The fit with the team, you want to have an eclectic mix of people across your team. You don't want everyone to bring you the same skill set or the same personality type. So I tend to take a lot of time over the hiring process, because once you have hired someone, it's difficult then to have have hard conversations and then take them off the team once they're on the team. And it can also cause a lot of trouble if you've put the wrong person on the bus, as it were. It takes one toxic person to infect the rest of the team, and then it comes down like a pack of cards. So I tend to take a lot of time choosing the right person, making sure they're the right fit, making sure they're committed and they're going to stay with me, and just building trust between us. And I tend to ask quite a lot of them, are they prepared to come in and team teach for nothing? Are they prepared to just come in and get to know the members and do classes? So I'm asking for a fair level of commitment. And then once they are on the team, they're extremely well supported and it's very inclusive. There's a lot of upskilling, a lot of mentoring, and a great deal of encouragement and support from myself and from the team that they're coming into.
Liesl, I think we've all heard the statistics around, club retention is so greatly affected by group fitness and the instructors. Why do you think it's so important to get that recruitment stage right when it comes to group fitness?
It's a really good question, Chantal, and I think people underestimate how much member retention is affected by group fitness instructors. But if you think of the amount of classes you may have on a timetable in a week, whether it's 250, whether it's 80, every time an instructor steps on the stage, they're a role model for the members. And they're also your strongest word of mouth tool for your club and the things that you're offering within your club. So if you do have someone on stage who's not putting a positive message out there, that's reaching a lot of people and also affecting a lot of people. And when people get tribal and they're in there for the experience, the shared experience, it's how you make them feel that they walk away with at the end of the day. So if you've made them feel empowered and strong and passionate and wanting to come back again, that is your biggest and most powerful retention tool. If you haven't made them feel that way and you've complained about the mic breaking and the air conditioner not working and the management not being great or whatever, they're walking away feeling that this is a substandard facility, and overall they're probably really unlikely to come back again.
Liesl, I have loved today's chat. There's been some really good information in there. Tell us about what you are going to talk about next month.
Okay, so next month what we're going to dive into a little bit more deeply is emotional intelligence. And I've touched on it just slightly this month, but we're going to talk about how you use your EQ or your emotional intelligence to lead a team more powerfully.
Cannot wait for that one. Thank you for joining us once again, Liesl Clevey.
You're welcome.
Next week, I'm chatting to Lexi Griffiths, the Sizzle Maker. And to get you warmed up for that chat, I asked Lexi our quick fire 5 questions. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the show Lexi Griffiths. Now, Lexi will be joining us next week. So to get us set up for that little conversation, I thought I'd start by asking Lexi our quick fire 5 questions. Welcome to the show, Lexi.
Thank you, Chantal. This has been a long time coming. I'm in Australia. I'm just loving it here, and working with you and Justin, just love it. Fantastic.
I think we've put on our best weather for you as well, haven't we?
Very lucky. In these beaches around here, what could you wish for more?
Exactly. Well, look, we're going to kick off today with a quick fire 5. So are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Why do you do what you do?
Good question. I do it because I love it. And I'm just so lucky to be in this incredible industry that we've got, sharing the experiences that I've had and giving it out to people, both the success and the failures, so that they don't make the same mistakes as I do.
Great answer, Lexi. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Probably years ago, when I was a school teacher, and people watched me doing stuff with kids and watched me being entertaining, they said, why don't you play your strengths and go out and do more of that?
And that's what you did.
Is the best advice I've ever been given.
Great advice. What's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
Really, it's being curious. All the time when I'm out every day, I'm looking around for inspirations, great customer service, great ideas, and trying to put that then into my own work and using with my own teams.
Curiosity, it's a great habit. And tell us, what's one book that you'd recommend and why?
Laughter is the Best Medicine by Robert Holden. And I'm recommending this because I went on a laughter workshop years and years ago and saw this guy in action. And it's full of fantastic tips and strategies, but so much fun to read too. A real good book to read.
And one last question, Lexi. Why should our FBP tribe come back and listen to our chat next week?
they should come back because it's going to be full of tips and strategies on how they can take their teams and themselves from great to really awesome and amazing.
Lexi, I can't wait for you to join us next week.
Thank you. I can't wait either.
Thanks so much. So that's next week. One last reminder, you can win a 12-month membership with Active Management by subscribing to the show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com or engage with the Fitness Business Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or even email us. Do it and you may be this month's winner. Thanks for joining me for another week of the Fitness Business Podcast. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
Great show this week that you should be suffering DOMs, delayed onset mind soreness, as you are overloaded and that's when your mind is strengthened. You and your business have been strengthened thanks to the amazing support of our premier sponsor, Active Management. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au only if you want to strengthen your business and your leadership. Don't forget all today's links and notes are found at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, where you can also subscribe and never miss a show and maybe win a prize. Next week is another incredible guest with Chantal, so get ready for more Fit Bizpiration.